Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings.
Hi everyone, this is Tammy at Snowstorm Crafts and welcome. So what I want to work on today with you guys is we're going to finish our Sashiko little kit that we've been working on. And if you guys haven't seen the beginning of the series, I will make sure to put it on the end screen so you guys can come check it out. So far, did some slow stitching. I think it goes this way. I just did slow stitching, worked on that, and then I got the measurements. Because if you guys don't have this kit or anything, because it's from like a specialty shop and stuff that my mom sent me. And I give you the measurements of this size, and then you guys can just draw and just go ahead and stitch whatever you want on them and just do them in sections. And I'm going to show you guys how today we're going to add a cool collage cover. And actually, right here. So what I did last video is did the circles. I did this background fabric that I just had around. It didn't come with the kit. It's just something I had. And I showed you guys the circles that you can add to the cover. And then today I'm going to show you guys a fun collage to put on it. And then we're going to sew this cover to the journal and finish it off today. So that's going to be fun. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun. But I want to get serious just for a second with you guys. I'm going to read Tammy's thoughts out of my journal. Sorry, didn't mean to shake you guys. Out of my journal here. And kind of let you guys know a little bit about me. About 5-minute little dealio here. And what I titled it is Why I Do What I Do. Tammy's thoughts. I grew up making crafts. My mom always had projects going on, and she made sure that I had them too. As I got older, I got married, had a son, life goes on, you know, and it just gets away from you when you don't have time to craft, you don't have time to do anything, you're running back and forth, doing sports, doing school, doing work, you know, on top of everything else, and just life just gets to you, you know. We all know that one for sure. So I went years without crafting. I didn't have the space, didn't have the time, for sure. Space really isn't, you can sit at a table, a dining room table, and do some crafts and stuff. If you really want to, you can make space. But I really did not have the time to do it. So about 7 years ago, my son got older and, you know, did his whole thing, graduated high school and did this college and all that, and started doing his own thing. And so, you know, kind of sitting there with the empty nest going, well, okay, what am I going to do here? And so about 7 years ago, I went ahead and started my Etsy shop. And I got that going, you know, and I started doing, different things for that. What was I mainly doing? I was sewing. I started off sewing because that's where I came from for my mom and stuff. So sewing is my main background and what I saw most of my life. And so I started off like sewing these little cute little 6x6 pillows, kind of like my subscribe pillow you guys see at the end of my videos and stuff, those pretty much. And then I did a Cricut on top of them and did cute little sayings and stuff like that. So I started off doing that, and it just kind of progressed into everything, you know. So, but once I started doing all that, it brought back all the childhood feelings and all the, oh man, I can really get into doing my art and doing my crafts again and doing what I love to do, and just kind of immerse yourself into it, you know. And then about 2 years ago, I started this YouTube channel. So I started off, because I didn't know what to do at first, so I started off just showing like my wall hangings and then kind of talking about them and holding them up. I was super nervous. I didn't know how to talk in front of a camera. I didn't know, not saying that I'm very good at it now, but I'm just saying, you know, just starting with a video in your face and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this. So I did it like in my face at first, holding up my stuff that I've made and showing my wall hangings and talking about it and stuff. And then, you know, starting off with zero and nothing. Didn't really get far with it, but it was a good experience and it's good journey, you know, to kind of start off on. So I started off doing that, and then I eased into making like sewing tutorials. Like I showed everybody how to do like the Cricut cover and stuff. I still have that one on there. Some of them I have deleted, like when I started off, because it was just too embarrassing, you know, look back on them and go, I kept them for me as private, you know, so I can go back and refer to them and see them and stuff like that, but not to the public. Nope. So, you know, but it's all about experience and what your journey wants to be, for sure. So I eased into sewing tutorials. I did a lot of time-lapse videos because I was too scared to like really talk or do anything like that. So I did a lot of time-lapse stuff and just showing how I made my little pillows and stuff and just did it. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had the camera the wrong way and I had no idea what I was doing. It was a totally different world for me. So I really got into, after that, it's tie-dyeing. I got into tie-dyeing because my son, he was wanting to tie-dye, needed curtains or something like that, and had got tie-dye kit and everything come in, and I'm like, you know what? I think that'd be fun. And then I got into making little tie-dyed gift bags for my Etsy shop, and they're made out of lycra and spandex, like cotton and lycra spandex kind of thing, so they're stretchy, and I actually still have those in my Etsy shops too, but so I do make those, and then I kind of got into that, and then I got into making my banner flags, which is cool banner flags that you can hang up that have you know, different things on them like crows, and so I started off with the crow, but yeah, anyway, so tie-dyeing is what I did. I got into making my own paper, like with junk mail. You take your junk mail, you know, shred it up, and then you put it in a blender with water, and you mix it all, and you make your own water, or I mean your own paper, with adding water and stuff to it. So I made my own paper, and then I started looking on YouTube, of course, and found this one lady. I don't even remember who she was. This was a year and a half ago, or almost a year and a half ago. And she was making her own paper, but then she started making her own journals with the paper. And I'm like, what is this? What is a junk journal? I had no clue what a junk journal was. So that is the directions I needed, and I wanted to go. I mean, I'm like, wow, you can do all kinds of mediums with the junk journaling. You could do art journaling. You could do, you know, a smash book. You could do a stitch journal. I'm like, wow, where has this world been my whole life? So that was a little over a year ago that I fell into that. And I really do love the versatility in it. Just so many avenues you can take, honestly. So that is my story in a nutshell of where I'm at now. Loving what I'm doing, and hope you guys are too. I really do. I'd love to hear from you guys. Comment down below. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the new format and the direction I'm taking this. And letting you I'm opening up a little bit to you guys and letting you see inside my world and where I came from and stuff. So I'd love to hear from you guys, you know. So if you take anything from what I just said today, it's just okay to start over and try again. I mean, it's never too late to explore your passions. I mean, it really isn't. You can always, you know, pick it up and, you know, just like art, just pick it up again. It's always going to be waiting for you. It's just when you're ready for it. Okay? And just remember, you are capable of amazing things. So quote of the day is, courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. And that is Theodore Roosevelt. Let's go to the table. Okay, so sorry about that, guys, with the sound going out when I was reading in my journal. I'm getting used to my new microphones that I have, and for some reason it went out. I have no idea. So hopefully this sounds a little better, and I'll get better at it. Okay, so what I'm doing today is we are going to build this up. In the last video, like I was saying, I showed you guys how to cut out the circles, and then we started slow stitching with just some of the white thread here, and it's the actual Sashiko thread, 100% cotton, and I just wrapped it around this little deal just to make it so it got super tangled. So I had to untangle it and then wrap it around. My mom sent me this. It didn't come with the kit, but she just sent it separate, and then also she sent the needles separate, the Sashiko needles, and there was 2 of them in it. So we're going to do this one today when we sew the cover on. So we'll use the needle and then the thread. Okay. And then we're going to be using just some of just embroidery floss. And you can use whatever needle and whatever thread you want. I'm just showing you guys what I'm using. And this is just regular DMC embroidery floss. And I'll be using 2 strands with whatever I do today. Okay. And then this one's twisted. So I'm using all the strands. And when I tried to untwist it, it just got really tangled. So I'm just using all of them. And it's just I don't even think it does separate. Okay. So what I did is some fun stitching, as you can see. I just did some X's here. I did some swirlies, a little X's there, and just got it all stitched down. And now let's go ahead and put together a fun little, just a little collage I thought would be fun for focal points and stuff. So what I have is I have some tea bags here. Some little tea bags that I just dyed, I grunged up, and did some fun things with them. I just have those, and then I have some threads. These are just all my fun little threads. So these are just great to put in a collage and use, as collage fodder. It's great. I love it. Okay, and then I just did a paper doll, just a little paper doll of Tim Holtz. And I just thought that would be fun to do maybe some stitching on her dress right here. And we'll put her down as like a focal point. Okay, so I'm just going to build this up and show you guys how I do it. And then we will probably, I'm going to use just the Fabrifix glue and just do some gluing to get it all down. And it doesn't matter even if it seeps through a little bit on the back here, because we'll be putting this on in the inside. Okay. So I should just make sure nothing's behind it. We'll go like this. There we go. Okay. Oh, and also I did some, you can't really tell, but I did do some stitching. I followed along here and I just did some running stitches. Like I didn't do any here, but I did some there. And then I did just some French knots in the middle. I just did some where I know it was going to show. See that here. A little French knot and some, just to give it a little texture on top. So I went ahead and did that. Then I added some lace here on the side. And this is avocado dyed lace. And I'm doing just little X's just to attach it down. So I'll continue doing that. And now we're just going to build up a fun collage and just seeing how much thread we want to use and how little. I figured I'd throw a little bit of red in there just to tie everything together, and some of the embroidery floss. So this stuff is great to keep. I mean, you could do so many fun things with it. And you can add some tea bags in the background, because I don't want to cover up all our beautiful little circles here. And put her on top. It's just kind of just how your preference, how much you want behind it, and how much thread and how much different kind of textures you want. This is definitely how you want it. I don't want to cover that up. And then it looks like she's sitting on them. I think that's great. Really liking that. Okay. Now what I was thinking is, how fun would it be to just do a little stitching here. So I have a pretty sharp needle. I'm just going to pop it through. And this is just the cardboard, the little cardboard paper dolls. And I'm just going to like that and make a couple of X's here. And then we go to the next spot. One way you can do X's. Just make sure you don't get your finger in the back, you know, when you're pushing through or in the front. Don't poke yourself. Because you have to give it a good force, you know, not a lot of force, but a good oomph to get it through. Just watch your fingers. Like that. And then we can just go like this on the way back. Kind of line it up. You can kind of poke a little and see where it wants to come through. And then push all the way through. This. Here. Next one. And they don't need to be perfect. I think that's the fun part about it, is that when they're not perfect, that imperfection just gives it so much character, really. That's my opinion. And, you know, it is, like I say, the freedom of stitching. I mean, that's what it's about, is just the freedom of it. And there is no rules. What do you guys think about that? I think it looks good. We're going to glue this down anyway, so it doesn't need to be tied perfectly. You can just glue it. There we go. Okay. We know how that's going to be. Put it to the side. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing here. Because I didn't want to glue it and then flip this around sewing this. It'll just fall off. I'm just taking it, and I just took my lace and laid it on the side of my journal here, because this is going to be the front. I mean, you know, the opening right here. And I just thought it'd be fun to put something there. Also thinking, I don't know if that would be too much, but if you went outside and got like a fun branch or a little twig, and we incorporated that into the cover somehow. Let me look and see what I have. Because I think that would look kind of cool if you had like a twig that you went and sewed down on it and had it so it helped open. It just gives it just that rustic feel to it. So let me go see what I got. I got this. Almost liking the hook on it. Let's see. So just a twig, just something you can find out in your yard, or you know, anything fun like that. Laying on the ground. I guess we'll put it in our project. I'm debating though. Do I really want that sticking out like that? On everything. I have to pop that off there. Okay. How fun would that be? Okay, so what I have here is my waxed poly thread, and I'll try to make sure to put this down in the links below in my Amazon links. If I forget, whenever I mention anything, just remind me in the comments, and I will. I'll put it down, because sometimes, you know, I don't know what I'm thinking. So let's see. I know we're jumping ahead here, but I am going to do the X's down that and get that done too. But that's all I'm doing, is just X's, you know, just all the way down just to attach it. So I'm going to get this out of the way for now. I get excited about putting a twig on there. And just do some wraps. I love this stuff. It's so fun to use. It's great to use in tie-dyeing too. That's the main reason I grabbed it, is because it helps me tie up my, gives it a good snug tie down when I'm, you know, tie-dyeing. But it works great in journaling for binding signatures in and stuff. I mean, I'm loving to do that with it. So that's all I'm doing, is just kind of just giving it a twist here. here. I'm just going to go through. And let's just pop it up where we want it down here. And then we'll just have this will just be attached by that, which will definitely stay. Wrapped around this little part. Finishing up my X's here on the side. I'll just get the last one in, and I'll show you guys what I did. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and twisted around the bottom of the twig here, and then tied it off in the back. I think that turned out really fun. And then I went through and just did some X's. I finished them off. And they don't have to be perfect. I think this is kind of a fun little primitive little accordion journal we're working on here. So it's not about perfection. It is about the journey, of course. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and build up my collage here. I think I'm liking it like that. This with it. I got my Fabrifix glue here. You guys can feel free to stitch all this down if you want to. You can just take and just stitch all through it and get it down in there. So for sure, do that. I'm just showing you guys different ways that you can do this. And you could even do this with this. You could even have stitched the X's all the way through the fabric too, and then stitched her on there. So I'm going to put it on the knots here so I know they're not going to come undone. Line it up where you want it. I like that. It looks like she's sitting on the circles there. Some wispy threads behind her. Yeah, what do you guys think? Isn't that fun? How cool is that? And then if before, I mean, this is the afterthought here. If you wanted to, you could take, some like black soot. Done this before, I glued everything down. Yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah, glue's pretty good. Take it. Get it a little rustic here. And it just makes it pop. There it was. There we go. So if you guys are enjoying this video, please hit the like button. It really does help me get my video out there further for others to see how to do this fun Sashiko accordion style journal that we're having fun here doing. So yeah, please. It really helps me out. I am having so much fun doing this with you guys. You can just go so many different ways with it. Okay, so there's our fun little cover. What do you guys think of that? I think that turned out kind of cool. So go out in your yard, see what you can find out there, or when you go for a walk, or take your dog for a walk, or just to get out, get some fresh air, just look down on the ground, see what you can find, and just bring them in, let them dry overnight or a couple days, you know, get them dried out and put them in some of your projects, you know. They're really fun to use. And it just kind of just brings a earthy feel to it, you know. Okay, so I brought you guys up a little bit so you can see what's happening. And a good idea is to get like anything that, any strings or things that you don't want on here. For some reason I collected up a bunch. Probably because all the little strings on the front cover. Little threads. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure there's nothing in between that. Everything's upright. Everything's upright on the other side. I mean, this is just so fun to do. It's going to be a fun little just fold out accordion. You can look at it and feel the funness here. Okay, so you do have a couple options that you can do. You can glue it if you want to. You can take your Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac or anything like that and glue it down. Just keep in mind you're going to want to smear it either with your finger and not have blobs because it will soak through and that won't be good. Or you can take it to the sewing machine and just sew around. That's definitely an option. Or you can hand sew it on. That's the option we're going to do. So the thing is when we do sew it on, we're going to go ahead and do another running stitch along the bottom of this one, which I don't think that'll look too bad. And I'll try to get it lined up as good as I can, but you never know how that's going to work out. So I'm trying to see where the twig is up here up front, because you're going to have to think about stitching through here, which if you have a twig on front, it'd be kind of hard to take your sewing machine and go through it. So that's something you need to think about too. I'm thinking if I hand stitch, I can go ahead and work around this twig. You can see right here that it's right there, and I could just do a stitch over it and work around it. And then you need to think about where the stitching is going to show through on the front too, which I think it's all going to tie together really nicely. Okay. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to pin it down, and I will start probably on the bottom right here and pop my needle up through here like this to hide my knot, and that can just go on the inside like that. Okay, and then if you run out of thread along the way, just do the same thing and just start your next knot. Just pop it right up underneath towards your next stitch and just hide your knot underneath. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and do a running stitch all the way around it, and we'll come back and see the end result. I want to show you guys what I'm doing here and how I'm stitching the bottom together. So this is the Sashiko style of stitching, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking it in my hands like this so you can see the running stitch, and none of it, it's not perfect. So it's all about the enjoyment of stitching, the needle and thread going through the fabric, and just kind of, you know, have a meditative state and just feel the fabric and breathe and just lower your blood pressure and all those good things, you know. So it's just really the art of stitching. So what I'm doing is I'm going over about from here to here, so let's say half an inch, coming up a quarter of an inch, like that. So half inch, but you can do these as wide as you want. I'm just doing them a little wider. And then coming up quarter of an inch. And then take your pin out. And then go down, say, half an inch. And then up quarter of an inch. So you just do that roughly all the way and just keep kind of going as far as you want with your needle until it fills up. And then when you pop back up like that, so you have it all gathered together, you take it, grab the end of your fabric like this, pinch it with your finger and thumb. And you take your needle and just pull it through. Just like that. Easy as that. So is that fun? So that's what I'm doing all the way around, and it's fairly quick. So once you get the hang of it, that's why I just take it like this. And as I'm going around, I'll make sure to have everything facing me like this. So even when I go over here, I'll have it facing me like this. So it's just, for me, that just seems the easiest to gather it all up. But do what's comfortable for you, for sure. So I'm going about a half an inch down, quarter inch up. So half inch down, quarter inch up. So just do that all the way around the whole project. Okay, I want to show you guys this real quick. So I got the end to the end of my thread here, and I went ahead and popped it down just to this side of the fabric. Okay, I didn't go all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of fabric, a little bit, just a couple threads of it, like that. And I'm making sure it's not really popping through this side. Okay. And I'm going to tie a knot. So just leave your loop like that. Okay. And then just go through the loop with your needle. I know I should have left more thread, but you're going through the loop with your needle just like that. Okay. And then you just pull it. See it? So we made a little knot. And it's nice and hidden underneath. Okay, so you don't want to go all the way through, but you want to go ahead and just pop it under there. So I wanted to show you guys that real quick. All right, so I got it all done. So here is the front cover. I think that turned out really cool. So much fun. And all it does here is, oh, I got some extra threads. There we go. Is it just unfolds and does an accordion fold. So this is the cool part, is that you can display it. So like you could take it and just open it up like that and lay it out and display it wherever you want which I think is super cool. And then you got the front here. You can even go like this with it. I mean, how cool is that, you guys? So this is what it does. I just went like this. Pop that back. Pop that over. Just accordion fold like that. And then brought this to the back. So the back is that cover like that. So is that fun? I really, really, really enjoyed doing this series with you guys. And I think this turned out really cool. And this would just be fun just to lay out and look at. I mean, that is a lot of hand stitching. I think it's really, really neat. You can even go like that and display it. And if you want, I think it'd be kind of cool to take this little stick like this and you can hang it somehow. Like, how fun would that be? Maybe bring some of them up like this and pin it, and then you can just hang it from the little twig and hang that on your wall. Or you can even turn it the other way and hang it, just like, you know, put a little nail or a little tack or something behind to hold it up. And you can hang it and have this side show. And then you can always just flip it around and then hang it and have this side show, or pin it up like that. I mean, is that fun? There's just so many different things you can do with it. Or you can just lay it out on your coffee table. And that's a great conversational piece that everybody's like, oh, what is that? That's really cool. Or you can just fold it up like this. Display it on your little bookshelves, or your big bookshelves, or whatever bookshelves you have. You know, you can have it and just have it lay out like that. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with it and so many ways to do it. So I hope you guys found this video and this series informational. And if you could please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you guys can see my next video when I post it. Like, comment, and share, and let's grow together. And keep on crafting.